Everyone else been here before? Who else has been to the SOBE Brunch before? No one? Just two people there. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, you all drink way too much last night. Okay, good. Wake up. This is actually a really big treat. I'm very excited to be sitting in this absolutely beautiful room and hosting the Dolce Brunch. When they asked me and told me that Chef Michael White would be doing it with me, there's just no contest. So, if you haven't had Michael White's food before, I'm going to tell you, you are really in the right place. This is the best room on the beach today, to be sure. And of course, we couldn't be here today if it wasn't for the Delano Hotel, Fiji water, Godiva chocolate, and of course Dolce wines, which you will hear a lot about later. And I'm really actually excited to drink these beautiful, beautiful late harvest wines with the food that you'll have today. It's going to be a pretty amazing pairing. And we're going to hear from the winemaker shortly. But if you haven't had the honor and the pleasure of eating Michael White's food, I have to say I've been a fan for a very long time. And I kind of follow him around wherever he goes. A Wisconsin boy, little known Wisconsin boy, very proud of that. And spent a lot of time at the famous, the extraordinary Spiaggia in Chicago before going to San Domenico in Italy for many years. And thank God, ending up with us in New York City. He is the owner of Osteria Marini, Marea, and the new I Fiori. Congratulations, by the way, on I Fiori. Really, there is no one else you want cooking Italian food for you. So please welcome Chef Michael White.
Today we're doing a 4-course menu. I hope everybody has plenty of room and ready to eat and drink. We're first starting with a cured mackerel or amberjack with smoked yogurt. A little bit of play on brunch items for us. We're also doing poached egg with brioche, beluga caviar, and sea urchin zabaglione. And we're finishing with handmade tortellini with truffles, black truffles, cream, and a little bit of sugli arrosto. We're also doing brioche with, I won't tell you the rest of it. But no, with gorgonzola and passion fruit and coffee. So you're in for a real treat this morning. Is it this morning? This afternoon?
It's whatever.
Very well. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to get started.
So on to the next most important thing, and that's the wine. The beautiful golden bottles in front of you, and feel free to, there are bottles on your table, look at them, read them, enjoy them with the abundance of chocolate that is filling for us on the tables as well. Really beautiful, I have to say. And here to talk a lot about the wine is Greg Allen, the winemaker and president of Dolce Wines, which I kind of was fascinated, I have to say, reading a little bit about you. This is a man who was studying for a PhD in mechanical engineering and decided that he'd rather make wine and follow his passion in industry. And thank God he did, because we're all benefiting from it. Dolce is a very special wine produced by Farniente in the Napa Valley. And really, there's nothing else like it in North America. And he's here to tell you all about it. Greg Allen.
Well, thank you very much to everybody for coming to the Dolce Brunch today. It's so exciting for me to present to you these 4 wines that I've made over the last 11 years as my job as winemaker for Dolce. Together with me are Tom Gilhu, who represents the Eastern Regional Sales Manager, Eastern Sales of the United States, and Bruce Morris, the president of the Nickel and Nickel Winery, director of sales for Dolce, my stunt double, just in case I get too nervous. They don't let me out of the winery that often. Thank you. It's nice to have a safety net. So, Dolce is a winery. It's a sister winery to Farniente, to Nickel and Nickel, and the newest winery on route. Dolce is dedicated to producing a single late harvest wine. It's the only winery in North America to do so. We have 20 acres of vineyards dedicated to the production of this wine. It's mostly made of Semillon, a little bit of Sauvignon Blanc, The magic ingredient is the action of a benevolent mold called botrytis. Just as mold is integral to the production of blue cheese, mold is integral to the production of a late harvest wine. It's essential to bring on the concentration of flavors and sugar that we need to make this late harvest wine. So the amount of wine that we make is limited by the degree to which we see this mold in the vineyard. Some years it's abundant, we make quite a bit. In other years it's very, very limited. So the 2004 vintage, which is what we're greeting you with here in your glass, is a very, very small vintage, and it's a rare pleasure to be able to share this wine with you today. In the vineyard, we harvest these berries, berry by berry. You know, when we're harvesting Chardonnay, we're pulling fruit off the vine at about 400 pounds per person per hour. Now for Dolce, it's about 10 pounds per person per hour. We have a bucket with little needle nose snips, and we're taking off the berries that perfectly fit the description for which I require to make Dolce. Shriveled, a little bit of the mold action on the fruit, the complete absence of all the other terrible things that can happen in the vineyard, like yellow jacket damage, or other molds, or raisins even, aren't good for the Dolce style. So every vintage I make about 15 to 20 wines. After 3 years of aging and 100% new French oak, I blend the best of those lots together to make a single wine. I discard the rest. And what goes into the bottle waits another year in our storage facility before we release it for sale. So the 2004 that you're tasting today may seem like a 7-year-old wine, but in reality it's a youngster. It is still quite fruit forward. It's very tropical, and I think it's a good example of the Dolce style. It reminds you of itself all the way through. It smells like fruit. It tastes like fruit. It has a really, really long aftertaste of fruit. It has a rich oiliness on the palate, and but most importantly, it's not a syrup. It's a very compelling wine that happens to have a little bit of sweetness. So, which brings us to the inspiration for this event. I mean, the classic pairing for a late harvest wine is a creme brulee, and that's a wonderful thing. But I think that sometimes sweet plus sweet is too sweet, and what we'd like to present to you today is savory foods with a late harvest wine. And I think I'm really looking forward to Chef White's menu today. It's really, really good. So we have the 04 vintage up front, then the 05 follows that. It's more citrus fruit in nature. The 01 Dolce is coming up with the third course, and I think it fits nicely here because in addition to concentrated fruit flavors in the wine, I often get bakery smells and earthy minerality flavors in the wine. And so there's this brioche character in the 2001 Dolce that I think is well suited to the third course of this menu. And then the last wine is the 2006 Dolce. It's our current release. It's very fruit forward. It's orange rind, orange marmalade, a lot of variations on orange, but in particular, it has a wonderful, fat, oily texture, which is key to pairing wine with sacred food. So with that, let's get started, and look forward to coming around and meeting and speaking with you a little bit more as the meeting goes on. Thank you.
I'm hungry. I'm sure you all are too. So without further ado, thank you all so much for being here, and enjoy your food and wine.